Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dream Michigan Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Friday, August the 7th, 2020. Hopefully it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty, as I'm starting to sweat. Actually, right now, the AC is blowing on me, but this window is just, I'm starting to cook up in my office right now. If you guys have never been to Scottsdale, Phoenix area in August, we are basically Earth's oven. We're all just baking here, for sure. Actually, sometimes they'll have they'll do like those little science things. They'll put a cookie sheet on somebody's dashboard with cookies, and it will bake the cookies by the end of the day. So that's what I'm dealing with right about now. And if you ever fly here in the summertime, 10 months out of the year, it's a dream here. I love it. But it's about those 60, to 90 days where you get out of the airport at Sky Harbor, you open those doors to catch your Uber or taxi, or somebody picks you up. It's like a hairdryer is just blasting you in the face with this hot, warm air. It just never really gets cool. A little bit. And when I say it gets cool, it's like in the mornings, we've been doing these workouts outside with some of our people at 5:15, and it's like 88 degrees. It's not bad, honestly, before the sun comes out, but anytime after that, man, cooking, like hot. And that's what I'm feeling right about now. But that has nothing to do with today's podcast, by the way. I did want to talk to you about how exercise makes us happier, which many of you have listened to this podcast for a very long time. So obviously you're probably fans of exercise and fitness and health. And that's a blanket statement, but I'm going to dig into kind of four very elementary scientific ways that it does that and why it's important to you. So if you have a friend or family member who maybe doesn't exercise or is not as active, you can share this with them, and maybe they will change their tune in terms of physical activity. But before I jump into the episode, just a reminder, our 47-day transformation is kicking off here in 8 days, 7 hours, 12 minutes, and 44 seconds. If you want to enroll, the link's in my Instagram bio. It's also 47daytransformation.com. If you guys really are struggling, I can throw you a little podcast discount code to save you a couple bucks if that's going to help you be healthier and kick ass with us over the next 47 days. Since in some places, gyms are still closed, like Arizona, like where I'm at, for example, and hopefully they'll open. I don't know. As I proudly sit in this building that I can't run a business in other than podcasting and the digital content we create and all that stuff. So it kind of sucks. And if you're in a place or a state or somewhere like that, or you're just not comfortable going to the gym, this will help you melt your face off in your garage, in your backyard, wherever you guys are going to train. Obviously, we're going to deliver the workouts, Monday through Friday to light you up. We're going to talk food, but we're also going to dig into personal development, which I think now more than ever, it is probably the most vital time for a lot of people's lives. And I've always thought it was important because obviously when we created this program years ago, and we've revamped it, we updated some workouts, we updated the kitchen tour, we updated a lot of stuff for this round actually. And it's the last time we're gonna run this program in 2020. We will do probably 2 other programs, maybe our 50 days to fitness at the end of the year, which that's kind of what we always do. And then maybe our fasting program where Monica sent me another program we could do, but I don't even know what tomorrow's going to look like, so I can't tell you what I'm going to do after this. But I do know in 8 days the 47 days is going to go, and that's as far as I planned ahead. But the point I was driving at, there's a huge personal development piece inside here, and I think because of this, season of life, it's affected all of us. Some of us much more than others. Some of us have got, just a slap in the face. Some of us got a kick in the nuts, and some of us have got both, and then that times 10. If anything good, pops out of it, maybe it's the self-questioning and auditing of what we're doing with our life and what our goals were, what they are, and maybe what they'll be in the future. And we do dig into that in this program a lot. And I think that's important because I think for a lot of people, their life was on one trajectory, and maybe now it's on a different trajectory. And in the short term, that might seem crippling, sad, and terrible, but in the big picture, it might be for the best. And sometimes it literally is for the best, and then there's other times where you make it be the best. And I say that because a lot of this is mindset driven. And so obviously we're going to talk about fitness and nutrition, but we'll talk about finances and relationships and career and what you want to do. And even for me, my year was on a completely different trajectory than it is right now. I've had to work more during this than probably any other time in my life for obviously significantly less money. We've pivoted to something else. So I guess what I'm driving at is I've chosen to make this be a productive season of life and a lucrative one, albeit it's hard to watch part of something you've built just eat shit over and over and over again, because basically you're running a business here that you can only lose people. You can get nobody else new to come train with you because you can't train with people in person. You can't invite them to groups. You can't do anything. So you're kind of fucked. And so I could sit there and cry at home in the corner, which would be super easy to do, or I could pop on here, talk to you on YouTube. I can do the podcast. We can create these programs to deliver to people all over the world and do the best I can. And that comes from the mindset of like just not quitting, not crying, and not just giving up. And that's a huge part of this program. And I'm most proud of this digitally, other than the community of people and the relationships we built. That's the number one thing I'm most proud of in life, honestly. But in terms of a digital program, this is it. So anyways, 47daytransformation.com. If you want to join, hit me up. I'm happy to talk to you about it. I'm not trying to sell you on it. I just want to let you know, like, it is there. And if you're looking for something like that, and on top of workouts and top of nutrition, we're going to get you looking sexy as fuck for sure. But we'll try to get your mind right too inside of that. But I digress. To today's episode, which my wife had sent me over this post from the good folks over at Precision Nutrition. So the guys at PN just did this. They do a lot of great little infographics, and they put a lot of good stuff. We've had some good conversations with them. When the world is rolling right, I want to get a lot of those guys in here on the podcast. It's hard to do the Skype, Zoom stuff because of the delay in the connections. I mean, it can be done, but it's just not as good. And I like to just talk with people in person. They can come in here, we can share a coffee or a whiskey or whatever they're into, and just shoot the shit. And I do got a lot of guest fun ones that are going to come on as soon as we can kind of do that. So that is my plan. But for now, this was a little play off of how exercise makes us happy, and just diving into physical activity and how it can improve your state of mind. Now, obviously, many of you know there's a myriad of benefits of physical fitness and activity and being healthy. I think common sense, like if you're talking about people who are more susceptible to a virus and to get sick and to die, this is, I would imagine, common knowledge. Like the people who are obese, who have comorbidities, underlying conditions, shitty health history, shitty eating habits, bad training habits, they don't sleep well, they're overweight, they're going to struggle with everything in life. And the weird thing, and I've said this before, for the first time now in like 5 months, I finally started seeing some, I think it was like University of Washington or somebody was like, hey, building up your immune system can help against this virus. Being healthier and exercising, well, no shit. Like, I can't believe, like, and again, there's a lot of smart medical professionals here that we talk to. They're amazing people. We have conversations about this. We talk about it, but I haven't had the whole nation as my platform. I didn't get to stand up on a podium where the whole world fucking watched me, and I didn't say a goddamn word about eating vegetables or exercising or getting quality sleep or supplementing with vitamin D and zinc and C and putting your body in the best position to fight off not just this, but anything else for a better quality of life. And we completely shit the bed as Americans on that. And it's not us, it's the people who have the platforms. They didn't do that. And I think that's complete horseshit. But now I'm finally starting to see it 5 months in. It's insanity. And so I think the benefits of exercise, you tend to eat better, you tend to sleep better, you tend to have more muscle tissue and be leaner and healthier overall. It's common sense. So you have a better immune system. You'll be able to fight off more shit that comes your way. 2, if there is a zombie apocalypse, who's dying first? The weakest of us, most definitely. The ones who are 100 pounds overweight, for sure. Like, you see how zombies move? They move slow as shit. If you're fast and you got a little bit of endurance, you've been riding an assault bike or pushing a sled, you're gonna be all right. So, in all seriousness, it's common sense stuff. But if you're not sure, like, why do I love it so much, and what is the true benefit of it other than looking, sexy as hell? The first thing, exercise, supporting their neurotransmitters. And exercise may boost the production of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and some cognitive function. The way that I read that in my, monkey brain here is it puts you in a better mood. When you are physically active, it puts you in a better mood. Now it's gonna dive into the next one here that I'll share, but when I think of that, and again, I have probably like 3-4 hours left to work here, and then I actually have to work out. I might squeeze it in before. I'm not necessarily looking forward to the workout because I know the movement patterns I have coming up today. Like 2 of them I like, and 3 of them I'm like, this workout's gonna suck. And I know that. But I try, the ones I like, it's easy to get ramped up for. Even the ones I hate, the sense of accomplishment I get when I'm done is a huge part of that. And I don't know if that's the serotonin in the brain or if that's dropping dopamine hits on me, like it's like a drug. And like if you're anybody, man, woman, whatever it is, when you get a pump going, right? Like when your biceps get a little pump, you get a little bit jacked, your chest is a little bit fuller, or you've been eating really well and you walk by yourself, you're naked in the mirror, you just get done with your workout and your abs are popping a little bit. You're like, oh man, it's a little self-confidence boost. You feel powerful. And that's what I mean. Like if you're talking the neurotransmitters in your brains, that like if it regulates mood, not only do you feel a sense of accomplishment, not only do you feel like this, I would imagine like it's like a natural high, but you feel like you can kick the shit out of the world. That's why we do this, because it's, even if it didn't prolong my life a fucking day, the quality of my life up to this point has been amazing. If for some reason I'm driving home here today and I get hit by a semi and I drop dead, the quality of my life up to this point has been fucking amazing. And I have to attribute a lot of that to the way that I've taken care of myself, the way that I sleep, the supplements I take, the way that I obviously train, and the food I put in my body, and the things that I read and listen to. That all makes up how healthy I am and how fit I am, and that makes the quality of my life better. That's why I don't see an argument not for exercising. That's, again, I'm not trying to make this like a political thing. It's why I have a hard time when they're like, oh, these people shouldn't be able to go to the gyms and exercise. Like, are we fucking serious with this? I mean, oh, we should all just stay home and what? And we're all gonna exercise when it's 110 degrees? And you're telling me that to people who are gonna be in New York City, and if it's December, and you say, oh, just exercising in your apartment? It isn't the same. It's better than nothing for sure. But I believe when we can work in community, we can work with people safely and efficiently, that's the healthiest of us. The gym going crowd. The ones who eat the best, the ones who understand like nutrition, supplements, hygiene, and exercise. That's why I've had a hard time in the state of Arizona that we're here. And again, I abide by all the rules. I don't break them. I do whatever they're saying. Yet you can go to the casino here and smoke cigarettes nonstop, playing slots right next to people, sitting at a card table right next to people. Yet I can't get 6 people in here 10 feet apart doing exercise. It's a tough pill to swallow, man. And you wonder why we're in the fucking boat that we're in. So, it's a little bit off topic. But I do believe exercise can change the mood, and the science supports that. The second tip, boosting those endorphins, which a lot of you are familiar with. Exercise can give you short bursts of endorphins, the chemicals in the brain that block pain and produce that natural high we're all searching. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the pain pathways and the movement pathways in the brain are the same. I think that's why, like, if you were to stub your toe or hit your hand, you shake it really fast to kind of block the pain of it. If I'm not correct, if there's a doctor out there listening and, hey, Jeremy, you're an idiot, that's completely wrong, correct me, but I believe I am correct with that. I think why, if you watch like UFC, which I'm a huge fan of mixed martial arts in general, but if you watch the UFC, the movement pathways and the pain pathways are the same. And obviously there's adrenaline going on there with those guys and their, the freaks of nature, but they keep moving. And when they stop and they can sit and they go back, and obviously the adrenaline, stops moving, and the movement pathways are open, that pain starts to seep in and you're like, holy shit. But exercise, for any of you guys who know, gives you that short burst of endorphins and the chemical in the brain that's going to block the pain and produce that natural high. That's why you can push through things. And again, most of us, physical and mental, obviously, right? It doesn't block all the pain, because when I'm doing split squats, the pain is real, but you build up a tolerance to that and you build up a strength to that. And so now the stuff I do that even 5 years ago used to murder me, it's not that bad anymore. And now I do those same workouts, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, because you can't kill yourself every workout, right? Like, you can't die every workout. You can't beat your body to shit. It'll never recover. You'll never be able to heal, and your joints only have so much life on them. But there's workouts that I would do 5 years ago and that I do now, and I'm old, 5 years older, and after the age of probably 22, 5 years older is not really a great thing for the joints in the body. Just correct me if anybody out there feels that, hey, I'm 49, my joints feel way better than they did at 29. I don't think anybody's saying that. What I'm driving at with that is, I'll do those same workouts I did 5 years ago, and they're still challenging, but they're not nearly as hard because I've built up a tolerance to that. I've built up more strength. Now I work smarter, obviously, which means you don't necessarily have to work quote unquote harder, but you're able to because you've built that up. And a lot of times that you do get a natural high and you're chasing that. It's like that natural endorphins. It's that natural dopamine hit to the brain. You're like, okay, cool. I got a good pump going, or I accomplished something. That's the beauty of fitness. And again, these are chemical things that are happening in your brain and your body. And I don't know in our normal lives if we get a lot of that. Like, when else in my life am I going to get, a natural boost of endorphins? When am I going to get natural dopamine hits to the brain? And the example I always share is this, and to any young person out there listening, if you're 15, 16, 17, 18, and then if you do play sports in college, 19, 20, 21, 22-ish, you have to savor the feeling you get. And hopefully they're going to play sports at some point and figure it out, or whatever that looks like, because I feel, not for the pro guys, they're fine, for the younger dudes, because I would be really sad if I was a senior in high school right now and they said I couldn't play basketball because I put my whole life into it, and for me it was like, that was everything. So I went to college, honestly. But that feeling you get when you run out of like the football tunnel for your first football game in your senior year, or if you guys made it to state, or if it's your homecoming game or your rival game, whatever it is, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Or you throw a touchdown pass, you catch one, or you get an interception, or you make a big play or a tackle or a fourth down stop, or if you're playing basketball and you run out in warm-ups even in high school. Just that feeling, like if your school band is playing, and like if you're like me, all your criminal public school friends are sitting up in their black trench coats from the early 2000s, black leather trench coats, if you will, very, very G. You see them all sitting there, and it's like, you're in the game and you hit a big shot, or you get a steal, get a dunk, or whatever happens, and it's like this electricity goes through your body. We call that the juice. Like, you got the juice now, like you're the dude, and it's just like, especially the nights where like everything goes right, like you just can't miss. You drop a 40 piece on somebody, and it's like a drug, man. Like, you get addicted to it, and I don't know how to explain. If you're not this kind of person, you become something else. Like, when you're competitive like that, you're a fucking killer. You feel like, even though you're a shell of like a Michael Jordan, you feel like this Jordan-like thing inside you, and it's the energy of the crowd and the people. It's chemical reactions happening in your brain, your physical body. It's like why you get that hit, of endorphins coming into the body. You get that serotonin or that rush for adrenaline, and like, you could be tired as shit, and then you hit a shot and it surges into you, and all of a sudden you have energy again. It's like this renewed life. And anybody who's played sports knows what I'm talking about. And it's the high of that. When that part of your life is done, there's very few things that can ever mimic it or bring it back or get you even remotely close to it. And I work in an industry where I've been very blessed and fortunate to shoot these large productions and work out on camera with people and friends, and we do our little competitions here, and it's fun, but it's nowhere close to that, but it's as close as it could possibly be. And I share that, my little jog down memory lane, for two reasons. One, if you're young enough to still have those opportunities, please do not take them for granted. And two, as an adult, if you're going to find them, you're going to find them through fitness. You're going to find them through group workouts. You're going to find them through like mini challenges, whether it's with me or with yourself. If you do our Sunday Metcons, if you're in like our 47-day transformation program, if you are a person who's a tri person, like a tri sprint or a full Ironman, you're going to find it in those things, those little challenges which push you, that give you this, they make you happier. They put you in a great mindset. You feel powerful. You feel invincible. You feel like you can kick the shit out of the fucking world. And that is what exercise does. That is what fitness does. And that is why when I see people out there saying like, oh, gyms are overrated, or fitness is over, you're confused. You never played sports. You were never competitive. You were never a winner. You never challenged yourself. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. It matters. And it's not just a physical thing. It is a mental thing too. If my life was only this, solely on a podcast and solely just making videos by myself, and I could never work with humans and never get to hang out with my fitness friends, you're only so inspired to keep moving. Like, I think Hannah's a gangster. Hannah Eden, if you guys follow her on Instagram, obviously BJ Gador, and Alexia. I use them three because those are the three people most of you probably know. And I watch their stuff. And I watch like Hannah working out, or I watch BJ do what he does, and I'm like, I think it's dope. I appreciate the mastery of the craft and what they're doing. And it might motivate me to try something different or look at something, but it's only so motivating. Now, if we're all in a room together, now there's like this high. You're vibing off them, and you're not going to quit because they're not going to quit. Something about that is pushing them. And fitness does that to you, especially in a group setting, or when you're around other humans, or even if you can do it digitally, it's better than nothing alone. But if you're not exercising and you're not challenging yourself to do one more rep or one more set or do a couple more seconds or try to complete a workout you maybe you couldn't have 6 months ago or a year ago, that makes you happier. Even if you failed, you tried, and there's beauty in the failure of it. There's a lot of stuff I've tried here. My 1K row time is 1,000 meters. For 1,000 is 3 minutes and 1 second. 3 minutes and 1 second on a 1K row. Could I go under 3? For sure. Now I'm scared to, because the amount of pain it puts my body in, it makes me feel like a bag of shit. But I failed doing under 3 minutes multiple times. But there's beauty in that, though, of challenging myself and seeing how deep in my pain cave I want to go, and seeing how much I've improved, and see how much bandwidth I'm willing to, give up before I basically pass out on the machine. And fitness gives that to you. And even in the failure of those things, it does make you happier, because at least you tried. And the people who don't exercise and who aren't fit, like, they're didn't even go to the game. At least you played the game, win or lose. And fitness does that for you. Exercise does that for you. Number 3, reducing inflammation, which is probably counterintuitive to what a lot of people think, but there are many types of exercise that can actually lower inflammation, which is a potential cause of depression. Now, if you're training hard as shit, you're going to get some inflammation in the body, and you need some inflammation in your body to be healthy. If you had none, you would drop dead and die. But there is certain things you can do to reduce that. And I'm not talking about pushing a sled. I'm not talking about, your 2K row PR. No. Mobility, most definitely. Yoga. Going for an easy walk. Maybe going for an easy row. Doing tissue work with your foam rolling, with your self massage. Playing like light sport activity, light dynamic movement. Basic things that we take for granted that are not taxing on your body. They make you feel amazing. Like, they make you feel energized and recovered, like you have so much more left in the tank, and you need those days. That's why I say mandatory mobility, because it puts your body in a good place. You're improving your tissue quality, getting the blood flow moving. You're working those joints, doing a little joint juicing, moving things through space. That's ideal to lower the shitty inflammation. You can't just train balls to the walls all the time and expect, to have this, perfect synergy of inflammation in the body. It's not going to happen. But there's certain things that have been shown to improve that. We call, like on the podcast we talked about before, NEAT, like the, your non-exercise activity, the stuff you don't think matters, just walking your dog, because it's a relaxing thing. That's why I'm a fan of yoga. I am a fan of mobility. I am a fan of massage and tissue work and those types of things. Those can help reduce the inflammation in the body. It's been shown to anyway. And the last one on our list here, decreasing stress, which I believe all of us now are feeling it a little bit, unless you're completely hiding under a rock, and I do my best to hide under my, rock here in the building. But even with that, I do have to communicate with people in the outside world, and I do see things that go on, and some of them are things I don't want to see, and some of them are, sad and depressing, and just the, if anything, it's the uncertainty of things which causes a certain amount of stress, especially when you run a business during this, when they force your business to not be open, it's not really stress-free. But exercise can be a great antidote to stress, with research linking to depression, perhaps owning to the body's inflammatory stress response. That's crazy. So exercise can be a great antidote to stress. And there's research that is linked to depression, perhaps owning to the body's inflammatory stress response. The way that I read that is, it's like anything. There's a lot of ways to relieve stress in your life. I think for some people, if it's having sex, I think that can be a great stress reliever if you're doing it right, which doesn't seem that complex. And honestly, I think physical activity is the same way. That's why I say it makes you feel good. You know, you either worked off energy or you worked off some anger, or it is an outlet for you to do something productive and feel good. Whether that's, again, I'm thinking like literally in my brain, like punching a heavy bag, or if you're playing basketball, you're really competing, or you're going for a deadlift PR, or you're pushing a sled, or for you runners out there, you're just going for a run and you get that natural runner's high. Now today we ran these long loops out at the park here. I think one of the loops is like half a mile, and I don't know when the runner's high starts, but I've ran 5Ks before, and I've done like the Tough Mudders and those things, and maybe I missed it, but I sure didn't feel high, and it was not a runner's high, I can promise you that. But for a lot of people, running is a stress reliever. My boy D-Lo here, he runs outside right now, 100 and some degrees, he's crazy. But he also does the trail runs, and he likes those kind of races, and I think for him it's a stress reliever. I think it's a way he can challenge himself. To me, that's what fitness is. It's without that, I would be sad for sure. If all this season of life was happening right now, with everything that has happened, with the world, in America, obviously, across the board, from all the shit, I'm not gonna list everything, all the shit we're dealing with, plus my own personal life, plus my wife and her career stuff, plus being a business owner, and, with our community here of people, and I take on their stories, so I sometimes take on their stress. If I was not able to be active during this, if I couldn't come here and exercise, if I couldn't meet up with some people outside and exercise, shit would be pretty depressing, man. It would be pretty stressful, and it already is, but it would be way worse if I didn't have that as the outlet. Because then also my physical body would start to not look and move and feel the way that I want. Then I would be more stressed about that, building it back up and doing those things. And that's why I do think fitness and exercise is one of the greatest stress relievers there is. I believe it builds confidence, it builds character, and for most of us, it builds a sense of community. There's a sense of belonging. We belong to we are fitness people. We belong to this gym, or we belong to this tribe, or we belong to this program, or we follow the same methodologies or belief systems. We are healthy people. We are fitness people. It's like I don't know what the term is called. I've talked about it before a long time ago. It's like when let's say you're in New York City, and I'm on, the subway, and I'm in there, maybe I have, a Minnesota hat on or something, and there's another guy across me, and he's wearing a Viking shirt. He looks at me, he's like, "Oh, you're from Minnesota?" I'm like, "Yeah, originally I am." And he's like, "Oh yeah, man, I live in Minneapolis, blah, blah, blah." Or I have an Arizona, t-shirt on, and I see somebody with a, ASU or U of A hat. And it's like we have this commonality because we're both from Arizona, even though we're in a different place. So we have this weird connection. It's weird we do that as people. Or if you're in another country, like maybe we're out to dinner in Italy, and you see another American and you're Americans, and it's like you have this bond because you're both in it. So it just keeps spreading and spreading and spreading, right? It's the same way with fitness. I could be in an airport just sitting there, and most likely I'm wearing clothes. You can tell I work out and exercise depending on what I wear. I typically travel in like fitness type apparel that's form fitting, so I don't look like just a total turd. I look like a dude who probably has worked out a couple of times. And I'll see somebody else who's fit, and you might not say anything to them, you might not even acknowledge each other, but you see each other and like, okay, he's part of the same group that I'm part of. There's community in that. Whether you consciously or subconsciously know that or not, there is. And a lot of times you do, as the great philosopher Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, once said, real recognize real. And it's true. You just recognize those people who put in the work like you. You're part of this brotherhood, sisterhood of people who really just gives a shit about health and fitness, and you have this connection. And the last thing I'll say here with this of why exercise is so important, fitness is so important, and the gym culture and community is so important to people. The amount of humans I know here that, have texted me, messaged me, called me, when the gyms here have remained closed, and in other states where they've never even opened yet, how sad they are. And they call crying, and they're depressed, and they feel lonely because they can't, see a lot of their fellow fitness people or their friends, and they can't come and be part of something that, it helps them. And that's why I sometimes don't think people outside of the fitness community understand the impact it really has. It is so much more than just sets and reps if you find a place that makes it more than just sets and reps. I haven't been to, a lot of CrossFit boxes. Whether I agree with the methodology or not, or what they do, it's not my place to judge. I think there's a place for everybody. I don't necessarily think, Planet Fitness should be serving pizza and donuts in the fucking lobby, but there's a place for them, and there's a place where that they do help people and they get them active. And it's not for me to judge what they're doing. The reason I say that is there's way more that goes on than just sets and reps, even in the Planet Fitness, I would imagine, at least at the good ones. There's way more than goes on just sets and reps at the CrossFit boxes. There's community in that. There's memories, there's friendships, there's connections, there's happiness that's shared there. That's beyond just, what's your Fran time. And for those people out there who do not exercise or haven't been part of something like that, I would urge you to find one when you can, whether that's digitally or in person. I mean, your risk level is up to you. If you don't feel comfortable going to the gym, that's totally fine. That's why a person like me does exist, and we have way more athletes who work with obviously online than we do in person, and we're happy to facilitate that. I love the in-person connection of it. That's why I bought this building, and that's why we do this. But in these times where apparently you can't, I try to do it as best I can in a digital sense, and it matters, and you feel like you're part of something because you are, and you're all kind of eating shit together, and you're all having fun together, and there's a camaraderie there where you can meet someone from North Carolina and Indianapolis and Arizona and Minnesota and Ontario and Hawaii and London and wherever you're at. You can connect because you're part of this tribe, and it makes you happier knowing you're all going through these terrible workouts that we created together. But in all seriousness, exercise does make you happier. Fitness does make you happier. Being a fitter person who, moves better and looks better, I believe you're going to have a better quality of life. And I believe that's a lot where happiness comes from, because happiness to me is making progress. Happiness to me is enjoying what you do. It's loving and hating the process. I say that in jest together. It's achieving something and challenging yourself and being more and doing things that maybe you didn't think were possible at first, and becoming something, that you look back on like, holy shit, how did I do this? It didn't happen overnight. It happened over many years, and you just morphed into this person that your friends and family see as like this happy, energetic person that inspires them. And that's, of anything of why I do this, is because it's how I'm wired. I don't know any other way. But if me sharing the workouts I do here, if me sharing the podcast, if me sharing the email newsletter we send out 3 to 5 times a week to people, if that inspires people to make one better food choice, quit drinking, not be so fucking depressed, start exercising, move their ass, maybe they do one of the challenges that we set up, it's amazing. And I do it, obviously it's our business, so I'm not a saint here. Obviously we make money, we have to, it's how we survive. But we do it because I understand how important it is. Because without this, I don't even know if I'd be alive right now. And I say that with the utmost clarity and honesty as I can. If I didn't find this as my outlet, if I didn't change the way I was eating, if I didn't change the way I was drinking, if I didn't change the way I was, using recreational drugs, I'll put it that way, I don't know if I'd be here. Like, if I was, none of you would know me, see me, or have heard of me. None of this life wouldn't have happened. all these connections, all these relationships, nothing. It wouldn't be here. Either A, would have probably killed myself, or I'd be so depressed I'd be literally just living on a string right now, and I'd be a shell of the person that you see today. But because I pulled my head on my ass and I started to eat better, and I found exercise as my second life, if you will. You know, sports was it at an early age, and then when you get too old, or when you're not good enough after college for me, you know, and I wasn't going to be, you know, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, or LeBron, so that shit was never going to happen. This became my second life, and that's why I do what I do every day, because exercise has made me happier. It's made me a better person, made me a better, you know, son, better brother, better husband, better friend, better everything. And I know people are like, oh, Jeremy, it's just fitness. I'm like, those of you who are listening who know, you know what I'm talking about. It changes who you are. It gives you this work ethic to understand that nothing really is given. You have to earn it in fitness. And if you can understand that in this world, you can apply it to every other area of your life. If you work on something and you give a shit, if you're not flexible, you can become more flexible. If you're not strong, you can get stronger. If your cardio sucks, you can improve it. If you have shitty eating habits, you can turn them into better eating habits. If you can control the flesh, the physical body, you can do damn near fucking anything you want. And that's the beauty of fitness, and that's why it's so important. And I think even though there's a price you have to pay and you go through the pain and you eat the shit up front, it is pretty sweet, it's pretty badass, and you end up being a pretty happy human being on the back end. And I've seen it here with myself in my personal life, and with many, I mean hundreds and hundreds, at this point it's thousands of clients that we've worked with. If you're talking the internet too, it's way in the thousands. And you know, I always said it's hard to get people to do stuff until they're ready. And as crazy as my old man, him and I have been talking about once a week in the last couple weeks here, because we got some stuff going on with our family. So him and I connect for about an hour once a week. Him and I are both not big talkers, so that's a lot for us. And he's lost like 30 pounds. I don't know how quick he said it was. It was pretty quick. Again, you see where I come from, this fucking Terminator, sent back in time to kill John Connor, one track mentality. My old man, to this day, he still works 2 full-time jobs. He works more than I do, from basically 5 in the morning till 9 at night. How he does it, I don't fucking know. He's in his 60s. And, but he lost like 30 pounds, and he was kind of going over his diet from his like, well, I eat, tuna and bananas. I sent him some athletic greens, obviously, and some D3, what else? Some zinc. I sent him a bunch of stuff. But the point I'm driving at is he lost 30 pounds, and he just got tired of how he was feeling and how he was looking. He said he started to feel like he was looking pregnant, and now he says he's got like a 30-inch waist. He's like the smallest he's been probably since like high school, and super impressive. I'm super proud of him. It's amazing to see, but just how he just seems happier. Like he seems, that's a huge achievement. It's a huge accomplishment. So hopefully he listens to this. And I told him already, but Perry, if you're listening, respect you. It's not easy to do at 60, let alone any age. But he just feels better. He sounds happier on the phone because he's taking control of his health. He's made healthy choices. And my dad just drank booze hard as fuck for like, I don't know, probably 30, what is he, 60? 40 some years easily of just drinking booze like hard as shit. And he quit drinking booze for 2 months. I never thought that would be a thing that would happen, and I would say it. He quit drinking booze for 2 months, started eating, lean proteins, fruits, for carbohydrates. Not a huge veggie fan, so I give me athletic greens. But it's impressive to see. And just to see how he looks, he even sent me a selfie on his phone. A 60-year-old dude, Midwest, looks like Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino, sending me a fucking selfie of the bathroom of how lean he is. It's fucking amazing. And exercise, and eating right did that for him. Just walking and working like he normally does. And, he can't sit still anyway, but changing his eating habits, not drinking booze, not eating, Schwann's ice cream. We're from the Midwest. It's super impressive to see how happy people are to share their progress, to share their results, and hear how they talk. That's why I harp on it so much, and that's why I do believe it's an essential thing for everybody to do. However you need to do it, it just has to be done, and these places have to exist to help people do that. So that is my quick rant for today on how exercise makes us happier. It certainly has for me. pretty much all my friends and all my family, the ones who buy into at least even a shred of what I do, it makes a huge difference. And it all comes together, man. It really does. I think you have to do it all. And you might start with just the eating, or you might start with just the exercise. But when you feel better, you move better. And when you feel better and move better, you just have a better life. And, you know, that's what this is all about, just having a happier, healthier, quality lifestyle. And exercise and taking care of yourself can do that. Pretty much common sense, but as you look across America and the world, it doesn't seem as common as it really should. So I guess common sense is not all that common these days. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, all stuff you know, or just some easy listening as you guys are on your walk or maybe hanging out in your pool. And, you know, staying safe and sweaty and doing what you're doing, living your life, hopefully to the best of your ability, and getting out there and just, you know, trying to kick the shit out of all the goals you have in your sights. So, other than that, I'll probably have Heather pop on the podcast tomorrow, and I'll drop you guys a ton until our 47-day transformation kicks off here, which is in 8 days. If you're interested, 47daytransformation.com. I'll shoot you a little podcast discount code if you guys want it, and if that can help you out, I'm happy to do so. Short of that, I got a ton of little ones in the queue. Maybe I'll do one in like my, you know, my new quarantine, or, you know, I don't even know what you call it. Is this quarantine anymore? I don't even know what season of life we're in. Shutdown life, like, but like casinos are open here, but gyms aren't. So I feel like the world is shut down, yet I drive around and people are out doing whatever. So whatever season of life this is in, maybe I'll call it, you know, my COVID routine. I fucking hate that too. I'll figure out a name for the podcast, and I'll walk you guys through like kind of what my days have looked like lately, because they are different. My training is a little bit different. My eating definitely is a little bit different, and just everything in general. But I'm doing the best I can with where I'm at. I feel great. My body feels the best it's ever felt, and I think I look good. But if I don't, I'm sure people on Instagram and Facebook will tell me. So I leave that up to them. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. And again, if you got questions on anything, podcast requests, any of the supplements or programs or things that we promote and put out, I'm happy to answer them any way I can. And for those of you guys who will be rocking with us in the 47-day transformation, I'm happy to kick ass with you guys over the next, 50-ish days or so. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you again for subscribing. We appreciate all of you there. And until next time. Oh, wait, I almost forgot. If you're on iTunes right now, stop. Don't be a lazy ass. Go to your podcast app on your phone, scroll your finger all the way down, drop me a 5-star, leave me a couple of comments. Truly would appreciate it. Same thing if you're on your MacBook or your iPad. Drop us a review, you guys. It goes a long way. Share it with a friend or family member who doesn't mind swear words and wants to be motivated by some crazy guy in Scottsdale who likes to work out. I would appreciate that. And until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy, because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.